Okay, so this one's rough. Like, there's some great news that happens in this story, but at the same time, the man's still likely going to be behind bars after what happened. Uh, some of the charges I completely disagree with. Other ones, I mean, states' rights. It's their choice to not allow certain things over or allowing certain things. I think there's also some malice to the prosecution based off the state's dislike of what this man's doing. But personally, I don't think it's a justifiable reason to say he had it coming. Um, we'll get into that, and I'll kind of explain a little bit what's going on there. But this is an Arnold man who killed an intruder in self-defense, could face 17 years in prison for firearms violations. And that's where I just kind of disagree. Like, the Second Amendment doesn't say that because of actions you take that the state doesn't, like, you don't have your rights. It says you have your rights. What you do outside of that, that's between you and the state, but you have your rights. Like, you don't just lose your rights because the state doesn't like what you do. Of course, if you're too violent to be trusted out on the streets, then maybe you should be behind bars. But that's because you've broken laws that put you behind bars, and you wouldn't have your rights then. So if that's the case, maybe trials should move a little bit faster. So an Arnold man who admitted to fatally shooting a home intruder in self-defense was sentenced Friday to serve up to 17 years in prison because he wasn't allowed to own guns. And that's where it's crazy. So Malik Jamal Black, 26, pleaded guilty in October to weapons and drug charges in 3 cases dating to 2022, and 2022, that's like, we're talking 3 years ago that these cases are still going on about. Prosecutors said he sold drugs and illegally possessed guns. I don't agree with that. One weapon, a stolen .45 caliber Glock handgun, was used in the January 12th, 2024 self-defense shooting of Alan L. Austin Jr., age 29. So, like, of course, maybe the possession of a stolen firearm, I could see, but the fact that he just owns a firearm, I don't necessarily agree. Austin was shot after he broke into Black's 4th Ave house, where nearly $40,000 in cash and illegal drugs were kept, said police. Black, according to the court records, claimed he grabbed a gun after he heard glass break while he and his friends were upstairs playing video games. Black told investigators she shot the unknown intruder as he came up the stairs. I mean, good tactics. Westmoreland County Detective's Attorney Nicole Zicharelli, declined to pursue homicide charges against Black and determined the shooting was justified. Couldn't agree more. Like, great logic that this particular district attorney is using. Like, obviously it's self-defense. Witnesses said Austin was not alone when he broke into Black's home, but no one else has been charged or in connection with the fatal shooting. So I guess other people were there, but for the reason they're not charging anybody or haven't yet, I guess maybe this fish is a little bigger to fry to them. The Assistant District Attorney Katie Ranker argued the lengthy prison sentence for Black's, saying his criminal history and repeated illegal gun possession and pending drug charges led to the fatal shooting. And it's like, come on, like, that's illogical in my opinion. Like, you should, just because you own things doesn't mean you had it coming. Black was convicted of felon, barred from possession of firearms, and was free on bail awaiting weapons and drug charges at the time of the fatal shooting, according to the prosecutor. He was a known drug dealer in the New Kingston area. Yes, someone broke into his house and home and he shot him, but if he hadn't been in possession of the drugs and the cash, this might have never happened. Coincidence? It's not a coincidence someone broke into his home. And to me, that's just like saying, hey, you own firearms and gold. You know, so you could be a completely, like, non-felon, like a completely illegal gun owner, you know, even though it's your right. And just because you have something of value that somebody wants, it's like you had it, you were asking for it, you know. I don't necessarily agree with the logic. I don't think just because he had drugs and firearms was the reason that he got broken into. Of course, that could have been what the person was after, but I don't think that's justification for he had it coming. Like we had that story just yesterday where the kid defended his home from intruders coming in to steal his firearms. Did that family have it coming because they owned valuable guns? I don't necessarily think so. I don't necessarily think it's a reasonable or justifiable argument. So Westmoreland County Common Pulse Judge Scott, please Judge Scott Mears sentenced Black to serve 5.5 years to 12 years in prison for illegal gun possession in connection with the fatal shooting. Illegal gun possession, like, come on. The judge also imposed a consecutive 2.5 to 5 year prison sentence for illegal gun possession related to the 2012 search in the same home in July of 2022. The court records, police found 3 guns, ammunition, 15 pounds of marijuana, crack cocaine, and heroin. I mean, the drugs, like, personally, maybe some of these I don't necessarily think are an issue as far as ownership. Other ones, I don't necessarily think they're great for you, but let's be honest. This is a state's right. If the state doesn't necessarily want it, I get it. Hit him with the drug charges. The gun charges, it's our right. You can't hit us with a charge. It shall not infringe charge. I don't think a felon should be barred from being able to own a gun. If you're too dangerous, put you behind bars. I don't necessarily, and if the state thinks the crack cocaine, the marijuana, and the heroin charges are so dangerous, they should have put him behind bars and maybe moved this 2022 case a little faster, in my opinion. As far as the gun charges, I think those are lame. So the judge said he took into account that Austin's shooting was a self-defense, but he could not ignore what was done with the weapon, and Black was not permitted to possess. Of course, this, if you want to hit him with a stolen gun charge, if he was the one that stole it, like, please, that's fine. But just gun charges, that's kind of crazy. I've got to send a message because he's been here before, said Mears. Before Mears said, Black was also charged in a 2023 and pled guilty to do drug counts related to search of his vehicle following a traffic stop. And of course, that's the state's right. If they want to charge for the drug possession, they certainly can. But as far as owning a firearm in connection with drugs, it's your right to own the firearm. I don't think the state should be afraid or charge somebody for their own right. As far as the drug charges, there's other states that allow some of those things, and if he really wanted to, he could move to those. But he doesn't. So that's really the state's choice. But I'm glad that the state made the right decision to not charge him for the self-defense charges, because that's just clear self-defense. Somebody broke into his house. He used excellent tactics and, got the deadly funnel. He was safe from any sort of, not necessarily safe, but he did survive to live another day. And in my opinion, it was a very clean shoot. Now, as far as the drug charges goes, that's, again, the state. But it's unfortunate that, because he defended himself, and now he's facing even more prison time than he already was facing with all the other things going on. Best of luck to him on that end, but clean shoot. Get in those comments. Let me know what you think of this. Do you think that just because of his drug possession charge, he should be completely barred from ever owning a gun even after his incarceration is concluded? Or do you think that once you've done your time, your rights should be restored? And do you think that maybe this state should have moved a little faster with the drug charges and put him, if they felt so inclined that he was so dangerous and shouldn't be able to own a firearm, that they should have had him behind bars sooner? I mean, honestly, your right is to a fair and speedy trial, and this thing happened in 2020, July of 2020. So they had a full half a year before 2023. And we've had a full another 2 years since then. So, like, honestly, in my opinion, that's just ridiculous. That's stretching it out too far. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. If you found value from the story and you liked hearing good news that somebody actually got a positive outcome, you're still going to jail, but a positive outcome from a self-defense shooting, hit that like button. If you want to hear more stories related to this, smash that subscribe button. My name's Steven with Armed Culture. I look forward to bringing you more news related to the related to the Second Amendment and cases of self-defense. I'll talk to you soon.